Elixir proudly sponsors Smoke to Vape on Saturday.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Saturday. It's 9 o'clock. I will be your host for the next hour. I hope you're all well. And I'm shouting again. I always get excited. It's the excitement of doing a live show for all you lovely people out there in internet land. How's your Saturday been? Mine's been quite cold and quite busy. We were lucky that the grandma took the kids today. So my wife and I went out to Bristol town. And we were wandering around and we... you know, obviously I was concentrating on having a lovely time with my wife, but I did actually see a market stall, because there is a market in Bristol, and there's a vape stall. I'm going to go there probably next weekend on my own and go and check it out, see what they got. I didn't have really time because we were rushing back to the car because it was on a very expensive parking meter. Not the Saab, sadly, it was the Vauxhall. Anyway, so yes, I hope you're all well and you've got something nice in your device. And yeah. I'll also later today, sometime tonight, on the show tonight, I will be following the same normal haphazard schedule that I normally do. So good luck, everybody. Yes, so... tonight on the show, I've got 2 rebuildable diaries for you. The first one didn't go exactly to plan. The second one does, though. I just stabbed myself in the nipple with my oh. Anyway, yes, and then we've got a vaping journey video as well. A new sort of strand I'm hoping to introduce over the coming months. And I take a juice and review it and pair it with a beer. Let's see that beer right now. And you can think while you watch the rest of the show, because that's going to come up at the end of the show. What beer do you think this is? No, I'll tell you what it is. It's Bath Ale Festivity. And it's specially crafted porter, which is a very interesting beer. It's got a good story behind it. I don't know very much about it, but from what I remember, because I did a Hairy Bikers program where they brewed porter, and yeah, it was enjoyed in London when they didn't have clean water, and everybody drank porter because it was actually the safest thing to drink. Kids, everybody. Crazy times, and now alcohol is just enjoyed by responsible adults. Yeah, funny that. Yeah, lovely. So it's a sort of dark beer, very malty. So what possibly could go with that? Let's find out later in the show. Right, so first of all, let me take you to my Rebuildable Diaries 4. This is the 4th part in my Rebuildable series. Let me just preface this by saying the device that I rebuilt in it is now working perfectly. And it is also important to say that we all enjoy e-juice. That's got obviously nicotine in it, and we've found something that we really enjoy doing, but we have to do it safely. Now, when I use e-liquid, I take the bottle, it's got child safety caps, it's got all the stuff that it needs to have on it, it's got raised safety labels, and I use it and I put it away, and because I've got kids, I put it in a locked tackle box, and that is on a high shelf. When I've got several devices on the go, before I introduce them to my vaping life, I make sure they don't leak. That's why leaking's very important for me, that they don't do it, because, you know, I can't be having, you know, leakage in my pocket because a kid might touch it, and all, you know, when it's not good for me. Anyway, so I will now show you my rebuildable diary, and these rebuildable diaries are really the evolution in that stage of deciding whether the device is safe or not. And watch this. Yes, that's all I'm going to say. Watch this and enjoy. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. That's not rebuildable. That's a Kanger MT3. I think you'll find it is rebuildable, and I'm going to show you how to do it right now on the next installment of my rebuildable diary. Yes, I've seen a couple of videos on the internet about people re-wicking these things. Actually, there are many. And, you know, having used one of these for a long while now, it's a Kanger MT3. The wick does become a bit tired after a while, and it doesn't perform, and sometimes it even gurgles. So I'm going to give this a go, because I've seen the videos and I think I can do it. And, you know, I'm not copying anybody's technique or anything. I am just, this is part of this diary series, is to see if I can. I might try and fail. So here are all the little parts of the Kanger MT3. There are 2 O-rings over here as well, but we don't need those just yet, so let's move those out of the way. There's the base unit, there's the center pin. We don't need that either yet, so that can go away for a minute. And what we're going to do is basically wrap a wick around there, thread some wires down it, put it back together, and it's done. It's easy, isn't it? Not quite that easy, because it's very tight in there, very tight. So the first thing to do is wrap a wire around this wick. Again, I'm going to cut off a length of nichrome wire here. I'm going to aim for about 3 or 4 turns, as I normally do. I know that's what I like. If you like higher resistance, you want more turns. So I'm going to grab a bit about that long. You can't see it, but trust me. So let's put it round the wick. Now the easiest way I found is if you twist the wick like that, it tightens up and doesn't unravel. So with that in mind, what I do, I hold the wick and the wire and I wrap it once. The ones that get the closest together can be the start of your coil. And it almost feels like the harder you hold the wick, it's sort of, the glass fibers sort of stiffen up. They're just tight enough to make contact with the silica. I'm going to take a couple of those last ones off, shift it all along a bit, because they do move, and I think that is my wick and coil. So now what I do is I get my 2 little wires and I thread that through there and put that in there like that. Turn it upside down. It is very important that the right hand wire goes to the right hand side and the left hand wire goes to the left hand side. See, I've got a bit of a twist there. So I do not want those wires. I want to be able to identify what side of the coil those wires come from, because if they're twisted in there, you're going to get an instant short and it's not going to work right from the beginning, which is not good. So what then I need to do is put this little bung into that hole, but I need to thread one of those wires through it. I have put a little bit of e-liquid on that bung just because it makes it go, a little bit of lubrication makes it go in the hole a little bit easier. We all know that. This, I would say, is the trickiest bit of this operation. It's like fitting a stent into the heart of a fat otter. Now the other way we could do this, maybe, I haven't done this before, let's put this in there. Let's do that. That looks really easy. That's never gonna work. It might just work. Come on, get in that hole, you little monkey. Get in the hole, you little monkey. It's not going in the hole. So you can see I've got that in there. Now all I've got to do is pull this tight. Now I'm going to trim those wires off. Snip. Snip. Right, and we're ready for a test burn. Right, so that's all together. It's way too long. Yes, it is too long. It's way too long. But I'm just going to put some juice on it, give it a test burn to make sure that all my connections are right. So, droppy. Put that onto the MVP. It works! It works. Right, so time to snip off those massive wicks. So it's not the prettiest wick. So I'm going to fill this up with straight up light. Now I'm going to whack it on the MVP and give it a go. I'm going to start out at a low voltage. What are we at? We're at 3.6, so it goes to 3.3. Here we go. I am back. I got the hiccups. The nickups. This has got a bit of juice in my mouth. Oh. And if I show you what's happened. Oh. Big juice leak. So, what could have caused such a terrible incident? I forgot to put a major part of the device back together. I forgot this bit. What a goon. Oh, this is a complete fail. In my haste to put it back together to try and vape it, I saw vaper. I got excited. I've got the hiccups. And I forgot to put two major parts back on the device. My chair's deflating. There's juice everywhere. I'm going to call an end to this diary. But it's important that this is documented. Because it goes to show that in this journey we're all on, you're going to make mistakes. The Kanger MT3 will be rebuilt. It might just not be now. Oh. So there we go, a learning experience for me, and I hope a learning experience for you, because safety is all important with these things. And I did it at my desk, and you know, that was 36 milligram juice, you know, I was using, and I did get a little bit in my mouth, and I got the nickups, but I was fine, you know. But with hindsight, I should have used a lower milligram juice and tested it all and everything like that. So if you're going to put one of those back together, just run through that you're putting it back completely. Because I mean, I didn't put it back together properly because I was rushing to demonstrate, and that's probably because I was doing a video. But there we go, these things happen to me, basically. Don't let them happen to you. So I've now put it back together, and if you want to see someone putting it back together from beginning to end properly, you can tune in on Tuesday at 9 PM to Marco's show on vaportrails.tv. He will be re-wicking from scratch and actually putting all the parts back into it. So that means it will work. And this one, it's the same one but a different cone section, and it's working beautifully. Nice. Very nice. And we've noticed as well that chat is experiencing problems. So if you're experiencing chat problems, then we're sorry. We are working on it, and I will show you what chat's experiencing at the moment. It's that. So yes, it's either snowed heavily or something technical has gone awry. Let me just try and refresh it now. And you're back in the room. Woo! Hello. Hello, chat. Hi. Hi. Anyway, so there we go. There's my MT3 clanger. Put it back together properly and follow some safety precautions and you'll be fine. But when modding, when doing stuff like that, when re-wicking, just take those extra couple of steps to make sure you're doing it correctly. So if you want to learn how to correctly do it, 9 PM, Tuesday, Marco show. He'll be re-wicking one from scratch. You might even see bits of that again, because I think he liked the hiccuping bit. Anyway, so moving on. After the break, we've got part 2 of my bargain mod section. So, welcome back, chat, and we shall see you in part 2.
iVapor and iVapor Elixir proudly sponsors Smoke to Vape on Saturday. iVapor and iVapor Elixir proudly sponsors Smoke to Vape on Saturday.
Welcome back, and welcome back, chat. We had a bit of a chat crash. And now there are 28 of you online, so thanks for sticking with us. And yes, back to my bargain mods strand. Got loads of feedback on the Facebook page. That is brilliant. Thank you very much. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com and then do a quick search for Vapor Trails TV and you will find us on there. There's lots of stuff going on. Polls, chatting, photographs, information about the shows. Lots and lots of stuff for you. And loads of people put... I keep moving my hands. I'm very excited. Loads of people have put bargain mod ideas and I will be checking them out, and the one that I checked out this week is this one. It's the UDTL 510 mod. It's just there. So without further ado, let me play in my bargain mods VT and you can hear all about it. Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Bargain Mods. Today I've got a cracker for you and it's really cheap. Yes, tonight I'll be looking at the UDTL 510 mod. And guess what? It's under a tenner. I know! I couldn't believe it, so I got one. It's a shiny little monkey. It is an absolute fingerprint magnet, but what I'll do is I'll take it all apart and I'll show you the bits. Right, first of all we've got the bottom cap. Comes off. Got this section. There's the battery. Got an 18650 in there at the moment. There's that bit. And there's the top cap. Now this is for the 18350. I don't have one at the moment, but I've ordered one, and so should be able to show you it live. It comes in this sort of metallic brown colour. It is quite nice, I like it. The end cap is silver, the top is silver as well. The button push, quite a nice button, nice and clicky, nice and responsive, but look at that, it's tiny. That is absolutely great stealth vape. Look at that. Can't wait to get an 18350. So if we just take this apart again, that bit can go onto there, put the battery in, put the top on. Top's a good one. There we go. The joins are slightly beveled. Got a hole in the end cap there, you can see, and it's got an airflow slit in the top section. Now you'll notice it is flat, so let's run through a couple of devices and see how it works with them. Right, so first up, let's put a Cobra rebuildable on it. Let's see what that looks like on a £9.99 mod. Amazing. Let's give that a vape. Good stuff. Good stuff. And it looks good as well. There's not really much of a gap between there either. It is slightly beveled, but that looks quite nice running into the rebuildable atomizer. Also, I'll try and kick it, but I'll do that in a minute. Let's just get a couple of more devices on here. A Mini Nova. Looks nice too. No gap, but you can see the air hole just there. So let's give it a vape. It's performing well. The airflow hole works. Now obviously I've got a Vision here. That ain't gonna work, but you can put a 510 to Ego adapter on it. I don't have one to hand, but I can't see why that wouldn't work. But in these bargain mod reviews, I do like to just keep it to the device in question and what you can put on it if you bought this for $9.99. Obviously it will work with a standard 510. Let me just grab a drip tip. Put that on there. This is a low resistance extra large cartomizer. Good. I mean, you know, with any mod it depends on the battery. So right now let's see if it's kickable, and we'll there's the kick, and the kick is a little unit that allows you to adjust your wattage output. Some devices work with it, some devices don't. So let's take this apart and put the 18500 in and give it a vape. No. Make sure everything's tight. There's a bit of rattle going on. I think it's that bottom spring. I just bent the spring a little bit, made it a bit more springy. Well, that's working now. It's working now, but not working now. I don't want to fiddle about with the kick because the kick hasn't given me any problems on any other devices. Well, if I was giving it a score out of 10, I'd give that a 5 because it's not. It's firing some of the time. Take that smaller section away, put the bottom cap on the larger section. No, it won't work with an 18500 in the larger section. So mixed results with the kick. I'm going to put it all back together and just put an 18650 in it. So let's put the Cobra back on it. Do we like this kind of device because it looks like a lightsaber? I think I do. And that does look very nice. That's not missing a trick. Right, let's just go and have a quick look at the website. And here it is. This is vapegear.co.uk and mechanical mod from UD Arga. So it's the same people who make the Arga T make this mod. Colour of electronic cigarette, translucent black. I guess that's translucent black. Size of the electronic cigarette, 80mm material, copper and PC. Weight is 32 grams. Right, and if we look down here, I think you'll appreciate quite a lot of 5-star reviews. So with these videos, I always set out to show you mods that were under 40 quid. Well, you could buy 4 of them. So if you're tempted, it's available at Vape Gear for $9.99. And yeah, so that's all to be said about the UDTL. Same people who brought you the Arga and the Arga T. It works. 9 quid. That's all I can say. Back to me, live on vaportrails.tv. Yes, well, chat was a buzz during that, and yeah, it seems quite a few of you are going to pick one up at $9.99. Who can blame you? They are available other places, but they seem to be a little bit more money. But it's under 40 quid easily. So in that, I mentioned I ordered an 18350, and you might be able to tell that if I cut to this camera. They arrived. Well, it arrived. There it is, a little diddy one. So just to give you some size comparison, there's an 18500 and there's an 18650. So yes, quite the range of batteries. Obviously, you're going to get less vaping time out of the small one. So without further ado, let's put the little diddy battery into the device. Now, it's got 3 sections. It's got the top section, it's got the middle section, and it's got a slightly longer bottom section. The bottom cap screws on to every single section, including, and I'm just going to do this because I find it amusing, if you take the bottom cap off. Let's move these batteries out of the way. They're just causing trouble. They're trouble-making batteries. Let's move them over here. Right, you can actually screw the bottom cap onto that, making it utterly pointless. But what I thought is it's also a very good base for working on re-wicking. Yeah, so there we go. You also get a stable base. So there we are. So, you know, Cyan mods do a little stand, and this is also a stand with a button. Completely pointless. Right, so let's take that off. Now, I got this today, and I'm very excited. I was going to wait to do it live, but I thought, you know, I'm really excited. So I put it together, and I took the smaller section from the top, and I screwed that onto there. I screwed that onto there. And then I put the 18350 into there, and put that, and it doesn't go on. So it's not as diddy as that. It can't be as diddy as that. That doesn't work. What does work is if you take the slightly longer section, and then it works with the 18350. Put that on there, and lots of people said the spring is a little bit sad, and it is, but you can put a silver bullet spring in there, the copper one. So there it is all together in its smallest form. There we are. Diddy, tiny, tiny diddy. Yeah. Still very hideable stealth vape. That doesn't really make it stealthy, but yeah, I like it. In chat, you were saying as well that if you sand the inside of it, then you can put a kick in it. I haven't tried that yet, but maybe I will, so that might show up on a later show. Yes, I like the colour. It is a bit of a fingerprint magnet. I've been using it last couple of days. The button is reliable. $9.99, you know, it's a good mod. And you also get a free base unit to be able to stand your atomizer when you're re-wicking it. So yeah, it's a useful bit of kit. And I'm going to have some beer. Let's hang out with chat for a little bit. Hello chat, welcome back. I don't know if there's some problem going on, but it says there are only 38 of you. So yeah. So good beer, good vapor. Let's go to the next section of the big show. Now, if you watched earlier, you would have seen me make a complete hash up of re-wicking a device. So let's prove to myself and to the viewing public that I can actually rebuild. Now let me just check the run order. Yes, all good. And so without further ado, let's go to my rebuildable diary number 5 with success. Hello everybody, Andy here with another rebuildable diary. Yes, now I'm looking at the Igo-S. It's small and it's S. I picked this up from Vape Gear and it's $11.99 and it's absolutely teeny tiny. So there it is atop the e-cigs and it's very, very small. Now here is the Igo-L and there's the Igo-S. So very much more narrow, a little bit shorter, much smaller. It's the S. So one thing that springs to mind when I come to think about rebuilding this, making the wick, is that it's going to be smaller on the inside, hopefully. Otherwise that would be very strange. They'd have to call it the Igo TARDIS, wouldn't they, if it was bigger on the inside. But yes, it's performing really well. Flavour's really nice. Got a silica wick in here, nichrome wire, and I'm going to have to take it apart to show you how to put it back together again. There's a little teeny tiny wick. I tried to wind the wick round the posts, but it just wouldn't work. Let's give it a vape. Absolutely spits the vapour out, as you will see. You can see the coil and the wick can only really be a little bit longer than the width of the posts. There's more space on that side, so I've put a little bit more wick on that side. Obviously this side has to be trimmed so it fits inside the top bit. I'm going to take this apart now and clean it up and then show you how to put it back together again. So through the magic of TV and probably some sort of Scooby-Doo wipe, I have now got this on top of the bolt, and let's put this on the desk so you can see what's going on. I've only got it on top of the bolt because it enables me to keep it all steady. I haven't got one of those fancy Cyan mod bases yet. Right, so as you can see, it is rather small in there, and when I've put this together first time, you know, I was questioning where the wick can go, but as you would have seen from the beginning of the video, it does actually work, and it's a really good little dripper. So let's build this little monkey. Right, so the first thing is, obviously we need to wind the coil round the wick. Now I've got a length of silica here and I've got a length of nichrome. I've got way too much of both, but this is also where I found that my helping robot hands come into their own. Now this is just my technique. Don't feel as if you have to follow this. If you're amazingly good at winding wicks just round loose silica, then go for it. But what I do is I get that as tight as these little grippers will allow, and I do one turn that hopefully will be quite tight. Obviously, I'm having to keep the coil really quite tight together because inside that the posts are so close together. And I'm just going to use my thumbnails just to straighten up a little bit, and I'll show you what we're left with. A reasonably tight coil on silica wick that is going to be cut to about that length. So now all I've got to do is put it in. I say all, it's very fiddly in there. Now I keep my wires long and try and get rid of any kinks and get them as straight as possible. Now anyone who's worked with nichrome wire will know that it's, once you've run it, if you run it through your fingers, it turns into a spring. See? Springy. And not really conducive to getting it into a connector. So the thing that I've found that helps with that is a lighter. Now if we run a flame over these wires, yes, they will still be curly whirly, but where we see them glowing red, you will see that they are then black. Right, now if I do the same thing and straighten them out, you haven't got that same amount of springiness in the wire. They're much more pliable and compliant. So that now means that I can now trim that off. I don't really go much shorter, maybe half an inch of the wires. So what I'm going to do now is try and put these tiny little wires through these tiny little holes in this tiny little dripping atomizer and hopefully have big vapor. That's the idea. Anyway, so let's get on with it. They're both through, and I find the easiest way to get them is to grab them with a needle nose pair of pliers, and there we go. So the coil is now sitting there. We pull those tight, and all those screwdrivers you got in Christmas crackers suddenly come in useful. This is a tiny little screwdriver, tiny little screws in a tiny little device. So, and then I tighten them down as much as I can. The first time I did this, I found that the screws actually almost cut through the wire. It did on the first one, not so much on the second go. But there we go. So we can see how very tight it is in there. And that there isn't really a lot of space or very much of a lip on this to keep the silica within the body of the device. On the Igo-L, the larger cousin, I tuck the silica wick through the posts and under the silica wick that had the core around it, so I could just get a little bit more in. And you can do that on this if you want to spend the time doing it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to check my coils, make sure none of them are touching each other. I don't think they are, they're quite tight. And I'm just going to snip off the wick either side. So it's really just going to vape what you drip on it. So it's going to be quite thirsty, I reckon. But that's how I did the last one. And you saw at the beginning of the video that worked okay. So let's do that again, shall we? Snip that off. This one needs to be very close to that coil actually, so I'm just gonna try and get as close into that coil but without touching it and snip it off. There we have it. There's the fruits of our labour. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and just run that round so it just sits within that little groove, combing it lovingly. Okay, so there we go. That's combed in. That one can stay pretty much where it is. I'll just check that for any loose silica. Give it a bit of a blow. And that is ready to give it a go, or do a test burn at least. So let's put this back together. So this is just on a standard 18650. Please work, please work, please work. Now we won't see any vapor on this because it hasn't got any juice on it. But there we go. We will see glowing coils. Nice. Okay. Has got a little bit of juice on it because there was still a little bit on that base. I'm getting 4 glowing coils though. Right, so we got 4 glowing coils. Time to put some e-liquid on it and give it a vape. Also, I will put it on the e-vic in a minute and measure it out and see what that came out at. But I'm guessing at about 1.3, 1.4. It looks like it's running quite hot. So I'm just going to drop some e-liquid on the coil now. And 1, 2. Just make sure that coil, that wick is completely saturated. And let's give it a vape. Here we go. That's working. That's working. Great. Okay. So we line the air hole up with the, well, let's be honest, it's quite close to that, so let's put it there. So I've put the air hole just there, so it's sort of running over the coil. Right, let's get it. We go. It works. Flavour's fantastic. Flavour's very good. Got a dry hit on that one. That's how quick it's going to crack through that juice. Clouds of vapour. Now that's on a fully charged 18650, so that's probably getting 4.1 volts. Nice, nice. I'll say it again, as I said with its bigger brother, the Igo-L. If you're not having any luck with rebuildable atomizers that use stainless steel wicks and you're getting hot spots and you're getting trouble, give a rebuildable a go with silica. It's much more forgiving. That's why I like it so much. Now, I haven't really been a massive fan of metal drip tips, but look at this. Look how cool that looks. It looks really cool. So silver lava tube. There's the Igo-S, and there's the lovely metal, cool looking drip tip. So yes, I'm going to vape this some more, but why don't you join me live on vaportrails.tv. Trippy man. Yes, no, I'm getting on well with the Igo-S, and it's performing very nicely. Lovely. So some questions in chat. Olga asked me whether I use Kanthol at all, and I do, but that's just what I have. Nichrome. I have a big roll of nichrome, so I'm just cracking through that. And to be honest, I'm just going to use the dripper at my desk. So for more day-to-day devices, I tend to put Kanthol on there because you're quite right. Kanthol does last longer, but nichrome's all right, and that one's a higher resistance, and I knew I had to do fewer coils. Anyway, I'm going to run over it if I don't stop waffling. I've got lots more good stuff, but first of all, let's go to the ad break, and then after that, there'll be lots more good stuff.
iVapor and iVapor Elixir proudly sponsors Smoke to Vape on Saturday. iVapor and iVapor Elixir proudly sponsors Smoke to Vape on Saturday.
Welcome back. Right, coming up next is a new strand that I hope to keep going, and also if you're interested, I'm interested in knowing anybody's vaping story. So I'm trying to gather them all together. There'll be more on that on coming shows. Why, what we're doing with them all, you'll find out. But let's go and spend some quality time with the lovely Mr. Dibley.
Now, for me personally, it began way back in 2009. Realistically, I didn't want to quit. I wanted, I didn't know what I wanted, but now I do. Back then I was trying to mimic what I was doing and have the same feeling, and for me vaping has provided that, and from getting that first little 901 kit and then scouring, as soon as that come in I was bang on the web and scouring some more, and found lots of good things, which has led me to where I am now. I mean, in terms of why the EU would want to regulate them, I think in my own personal, from me personally, I think when I watch these things and I watch the the live show, not the live shows, but most of the information obviously is going through VT Talk, you can scan and find it, but you look at those people and they're absolutely clueless, absolutely, completely and utterly clueless. It makes you want to throw something at the damn telly. Dave and the crew do a damn good job of putting the information into snippet format so we can all see it. Why do I want to regulate it? I think it is because even now, in my own personal opinion, even now it is so new. Even though I've been vaping for 4 years, you see people and new people that are coming into vaping, and even they don't have an idea. Not everybody goes on a forum, not everybody looks, and I guarantee you not one of these people in the EU have gone onto a forum and actually read about people that do it. I bet no one has even probably watched any of our programs. They are totally clueless. I bet if they watched or looked at the past 5 years history in vaping, even they would question themselves. So for me to say why do they want to regulate it, I don't know. I mean, I think they would struggle if they actually looked at the evidence before them. They would struggle. Simple as that. I would probably try and vape as long as I could, and I would try to buy whatever I could off the black market. Now, you guys know me, and I could probably knock up an Atty, knock up something for it to go on, knock up all the paraphernalia that surrounds that. The only thing I can't get is my nicotine juice, and be it unflavoured or flavoured or whatever. So if I couldn't vape, you'd have to push me hard. You'd have to push me bloody hard. I can't say bloody. You'd have to push me damned hard for me not to vape. And I would try anything rather than going back to the stingies. I don't want to stop vaping. Don't make me. Would I go back to that? I don't know. I don't know. I would find a way. I'm sure I would find a way. If I had to grow stuff in my garden, I'd find a way. I think realistically, our biggest source of information is our current vendors. Now they are, and I know a few of them are doing this, but putting the information in with every order, telling them what you need to do. Somebody's got to be, if you're vaping and you're part of this magical 750,000 people that vape in the UK, you are buying from a vendor. Now, if you don't watch the TV, if you don't go on forums, you are going to be buying something at some point in your life. I think our biggest asset at the moment is our vendors, and our vendors sharing that information with the people that buy from them. and potentially putting on there, if you want some more information, go to VTTB, go to RY4, go to this forum, go to that forum, so they can catch up if they're a bit behind. So for me, that is our biggest way of getting the word out there. Apart from me running up and down the street naked with a sandwich board on my back, which I'll quite happily do if I have to, but at the moment that is our biggest way forward. Sorry, a lump of wood just fell in my lap. Next question. I'm probably one of those people that I don't think I'd smoke again. I would try everything possible other than doing that. Now, if the government are going to force me down a line where I have no choice, I would probably head down to, the local and get my fix. But the stupid thing, I was in there the other day, and they're like £7 odd a packet. Now, when I was, they were like £4.50 when I stopped. They're like £7 odd now. So, it's going to financially crucify me. And I mean big time. It's going to financially crucify me going and buy a pack of fags. And B, it's going to crucify me health-wise. I am an asthmatic. I have been for a long time. And when I switched, I went from I was using one asthma spray per week, pretty much non-stop. Now I'm using one every 3 months if I'm lucky. And the only thing I've done is change my nicotine delivery system, which is these. And you're not going to take that away from me.
So, if you want to avoid Garry Dibley naked running down the street with a sandwich board on his body, you need to write to them. We need to keep the pressure on more so than ever. Write to them, write to them, write to them. Your MEP. Anyway, yes, an insightful look. And we've all got stories, and I would love for you to post a video on YouTube and let us share them with the Vaping Nation. And the hope is that these people are going to watch these shows and see that you're dealing with human beings who have rights and the ability to make their own mind up what they do. Regulation, for the most of us, for the majority of us, won't stop us doing this. Anyway, so let's go to this, and then I'll be right back with a quick juice review. And that juice in question is right here. It is one of the last of the Moondrop package that I got from vaporworld.co.uk. And it is Whiskey Rebel. Now let me just go to this computer, the chat computer. It's also loaded up with the website for a Moondrop shop. This is available, as I said, from vaporworld.co.uk, but this liquid, which is called Whiskey Rebel, is our e-liquid is delivered in 10ml dropper bottle. No, that's the wrong bit. It says inspired by American Whiskey Rebellion. The whiskey flavoured tobacco blend flavour is our toast to all those out there fighting the good fight. Right on, brothers and sisters. Doing the legwork to protect the e-cig from failing victim to bureaucracy. Cheers. So yes, raise a drink with Whiskey Rebel, basically. So let's have a vape on it, and this is what I've chosen to go with my beer. The beer is Bath Ales Festivity. It's just here. Hopefully you can see it there. It's other beers are available, but it's a sort of dark beer with OT flavours, and it says on the back here that it's perfect seasonal ale, fine filtered for quality. Festivity loves to be stored and served cool, and this is cool because it's been in the fridge. So from the juice, I'm getting a sort of tobacco-y whiskey loveliness. It's very nice. This is 24 milligrams. This is all VG, and it was very, very loose juice. But it's a sort of whiskey chaser for a beer. It's very nice. The whiskey balances with the beer perfectly, and it's just got that nice alcoholic sort of aftertone. It's a very seasonal vape as well. A little bit of whiskey in there, very subtle tobacco, sort of a light flue cured, and yeah, it's very, very nice stuff. Right, that's Whiskey Rebel. As I said, it's available from iVapor.co.uk. I've got this on a standard resistance cartomizer, and it's good stuff. It is good stuff. It tastes like whiskey with a bit of tobacco. So if those are flavours that you enjoy, then I would suggest you give it a go. And I've just got a note on Skype that I've got to run in a special news report. Now, have a look at this, and I'm going to leave you as this my end thought, because this will take me to the end. More information about this VT I'm about to play in will be on the Facebook page. If you want to check out the document that Mr. Dawn is referring to, I will play it in now. Thank you all for watching.
Hello, you catch me in a strange moment and a strange mood. I've just been sent the text of a tabling of amendments from the IMCO committee in the EU with regard to the Tobacco Products Directive, and I'm tearing my hair out. Aside from some very, very picky stuff that's going on there, I need to read out the following and then get my head around it all. Where are we? Aside from deciding what shape cigarette packets need to be and stuff like that, we get into the bit that I really do not like. Firstly, no tobacco products will be allowed to be sold on the internet. It says here, member states shall prohibit cross-border distance sales of tobacco products to consumers located in the Union. That means no internet sales of tobacco products. And you might think, well, that's all right, e-cigs aren't tobacco products. Well, guess what? They've decided to put a change in there as well. Yes, the text proposed by the Commission was that nicotine containing products with a maximum level of 4 milligrams of nicotine in the juice and products with a nicotine level exceeding 2 milligrams, that's all been deleted. That's all gone. And the amendment says nicotine containing products may only be placed on the market if they were authorised pursuant to Directive 2001/83/EC. And the justification that they have is that analyses show that e-cigarettes contain chemicals and components which pose danger to consumers. For that reason, all nicotine containing products should be subject to control. Otherwise, products with levels of nicotine concentration just below the proposed thresholds could reach the market without any authorisation. That was the whole idea, I thought. Not only a concentration of nicotine is relevant, but a mixture of all substances is too. Consumers indicate as well that they mainly use e-cigarettes to quit smoking, seeing it as a medicinal product. Therefore, they should be authorised in accordance with Directive 2001/83/EC. In other words, the banning e-cigarettes, or the IMCO committee wants to get this amendment tabled basically to ban e-cigarettes. The only upside, and by no means have I been able to do a full analysis on this yet, member states may allow the following products which are not in compliance with this directive to be placed on the market until, and then it says, Publications Office, please insert the exact date, entry into force, plus 36 months. So there might be a 3-year grace period, and it says it is necessary to give member states more time to adjust to the changes as some member states, and therefore companies, in particular small and medium-sized enterprises and farmers, will be affected by the directive more than others. But this is all in the nicotine containing products section. I'm going to be analysing this in a lot more depth, but at the moment I don't like what I'm reading. You might not either. For the moment, this is David Dawn for VT Talk and the Haze Hour here at Vapor Trails Towers, and I'll hand it back to the main programme now. See you on VT Talk.
iVapor and iVapor Elixir proudly sponsors